Hello and welcome everyone to today's energy market report for the 11th of July 2018, presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. So today we're going to be focused on crude oil, and we have seen some big moves today in the crude oil market. Brent crude oil has plummeted over 5%, and we've also seen WTI crude oil break down by over 3% as trade tensions have escalated between the United States and China, and expectations of growing supplies on news that Libya would be reopening their port. Brent crude oil is now down over 6% on the day. It's just broken below $74 per barrel. The next major level of support here for Brent crude oil resides at $73 and approximately 35 cents per barrel. We're in fact not that far away from that now. Another 50 cents move for Brent crude oil, and we should hit that level, and then we'll be starting to come back towards the swing lows here from June. So it's been an incredible move lower here for both not only Brent crude oil but also WTI crude oil as well. You can see it's currently trading around $70 per barrel, just above that in fact at $70.49 per barrel. Also a significant drop lower in prices here. So we've broken down over 4%, and this comes after we have seen over an 8% increase to the upside after the OPEC meeting at the end of June, where we saw the price break all the way back out towards the 4-year highs, and subsequently today we have seen quite a significant reversal. If we take it out to the weekly chart, it's not a huge surprise in fact to see WTI and Brent crude oil both starting to break down from these major levels of overbought. We saw a false breakout essentially at the early part of this week, which hasn't followed through. We're now starting to see this rotation lower, and essentially we've come into the next major level of support now, which is $70 per barrel for WTI crude oil. And if we move over to Brent crude oil, you can also see where essentially earlier on in the week we've also had a bull trap, so a false breakout to the upside, which is now reversed, and we're now coming back down to retest the lows from a couple of weeks ago here for Brent crude oil. So if we zoom out ever so slightly on the chart here, in terms of the next major levels I would look at here for Brent crude oil next, first of all I would look at $73.33 per barrel, which would take us down towards the weekly pivot. If we break that level and we continue to follow through, we've then got the swing lows here going back to June and also the end of April, beginning of May as well, which reside at $72 and approximately 40 cents per barrel. And if we really continue to see a washout here on oil prices, the next major level resides at approximately $71.50 per barrel. So we've effectively seen a big flush out on oil prices today. A lot of traders also now unwinding their long positions after oil has given back nearly all of the gains following on from the OPEC meeting at the end of June. The move that we've seen today, over a 6% move to the downside with Brent crude oil, has effectively meant that oil here has given back 2 weeks worth of gains. And then if we move back over to WTI crude oil prices, you can see here where we seem to be on track for a revisit back towards $70 per barrel. There is still quite a lot of scope here for downside with WTI crude oil. In fact, the next major level here that we could actually see oil come all the way down to for US oil would be $67 per barrel. That is the next major level of support. Unlike Brent crude oil, WTI crude oil hasn't yet given back all of the gains following on from the OPEC meeting, which was at the end of June here, where we saw this big breakout to the upside and we saw a break back towards the 4-year highs. But now we're seeing oil starting to rotate lower. It looked a bit vulnerable at the top here. We had several attempted breakouts over the last few days. Essentially, we've seen a bull trap again yesterday, which is where you see a false break of resistance, which does not follow through. Then the following day, often you have a very significant sell-off when we don't get any follow-through from continued attempts to break out from levels of resistance here. And we can see that very clearly in oil, where we have seen a very significant sell-off to the downside. And in fact, going back to the week ahead report, where we discussed the major levels that we could look at if oil was to break down lower and have no follow-through to the upside, we've essentially hit those levels now. So we've had this significant washout in oil prices, and we'll be watching the price structure very carefully here over the course of this week to see if we continue to get this additional momentum and trade opportunities to sell short and continue this momentum lower, or whether we start to see some support come in, particularly for Brent crude oil, because Brent is not that far away from coming back towards the swing lows here from the beginning of June. So again, the levels I would be looking at here, first of all, they reside at approximately $73.30 per barrel. In fact, you can see we're getting very close to hitting that level at the moment. The next level of support below that is at $72 and approximately 30 cents per barrel, which would take us back towards the swing lows. So we will be watching oil very carefully at the Gold and Silver Club. I hope you've been able to capitalize on some of these moves over the last 24 hours on crude oil. If you want to be part of a community of successful traders, then join us on our live trading rooms. As a member, you will get live trade alerts delivered via SMS, email, and also WhatsApp. You have access to mentorship, expert advice, in-depth market analysis, and trusted insights to know earlier how to act quicker and maximize on trade opportunities. For more information and details on how to join the service, please go to www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. The link is also below this report in the description, and also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to be kept updated with the latest commodity reports.